Hey guys, Gyan97 again, this time with a review of the 144th scale high-grade Universal Century Gyan from the original Gundam series. And only from the series, not the movies. Poor chap got cut out. But Mikuve haters, don't worry, he still dies while he's trying to escape from a Babaku in the Shards of Elite Affair manga. But that's enough about Mikuve, and let's start talking about his mobile suit. Starting off with the colors, and once again I really hope they pick up correctly because I had to fiddle with settings on my camera because the purple wouldn't really show up all that great. But I think this should be about the right colors. So we have purple for his upper chest, the skirt, feet, and his kneecaps here. Then we have a very light purple, like 80% white, 15% purple, and 5% cobalt green. I'm not making that up, I read that from the manual. And we also have greater thrusters here, and then for some of the joints. And onto stickers, only get a few stickers. You have this one here for the cockpit. It's actually pretty much like the lighter here, but a little bit more cobalt green and also a hint of red. Once again, I read that from the manual. I wouldn't, well, I couldn't tell by just looking at it that there's red in here. But yeah, there's red in there. Then you have a black sticker for the inside of the visor. Goes all the way back here. And then of course the eye camera is also a sticker. And like I already said, this part here is a sticker for the cockpit. That's all you need for stickers. So that's really nifty. On to articulation now. The head goes up, down, really nice. It's on a ball joint, so also rotates around all the way. And the arms also rotate around all the way. Then there's a cool little feature here because as you can see there's a part inside there that's connected to the joint, well, to the peg here. So when it's down, it's not an empty hole. It just goes up. Unfortunately, at the bottom they didn't include that feature, even though I think they might have been able to do that. But anyways, or no, that probably would have been a bit too difficult on a normal high grade, especially one of this age. So that's a real cool little feature. Then the arm rotates above the elbow, bends at the elbow, one joint for about 90 degrees, a little bit more. And then because this is an older high grade, the hands are unfortunately on pegs, so they only rotate around. Then there's also a little bit of rotation here. And then the legs rotate individually from the skirt armor. And unfortunately, skirt armor not going anywhere. You can only move it side to side, and that's all you can do with it. And then the legs go forward about that far, backwards about that far. What you can also do is extend it. So the legs go out that far, and then when you extend it, it goes till here, and they go that far out. Yeah, not that much more, but hey, it's something you can do. Also, it reveals that the legs are a little bit on the floppy side, especially when they're extended. Mine had a really difficult time standing up before I started filming. Let's push that back in, also go out about that far. And let's see, does extending it help? Nope, that's really as far as they go. Then the knees are double jointed and have a surprising amount of maneuverability compared to the rest, but is rendered completely useless with these feet. Go forwards and backwards, almost nothing. Side to side, a little bit, and turn around. Yeah, if I really force it about that far. So the feet really kill the articulation and the posability for this guy. Because I always say articulation is only as important as the role of the mobile suit. It's not a bad thing. It wouldn't have been a bad thing if it was an artillery mobile suit, but this is a close combat mobile suit. Come on guys, give it a little bit better articulation. This is an exact repeat of the story with the Goof. Though when we look at release dates, the Goof is an exact repeat of this guy. It looks good, but falls apart with Articulation. But let's leave Articulation for what it is now and talk a little bit more about the accessories. Starting off with his shield with his 48 needle missiles and his, I'm not even going to count the hide bombs. Just put it in here in the hand, then click it on there. Also, it only works on the left arm because of the hand, really. The hand here is straight, but this is of course bent for the beam saber, meaning, yeah, it's because of the hand. You could technically click it on there, but it's not going to stay with the clicking connector alone. Then the cool thing is, the shield has quite a lot of articulation, even more than the feet. Just essentially, you can click it out. It's on 2 hinges. Then you put that in there, and then you can hold the shield like that. It does show you that the arm joint is a little bit on the weak side, but yeah, it could have been worse. Oh, and you also hear it clicking in there, so it kind of locks itself in place. So the shield is really, really nifty. And now we get to the weakness of the legs. Yeah, the shield is a little bit on the heavy side, and when you extend the legs with the weight of the shield, he should fall down. Almost. Well, I wasn't completely wrong. So let's put that back in and talk about the final accessories you get for the shield. Those are 4 of these hide bombs. Look quite nifty, quite well detailed, especially for such an old kit. Fortunately, they are hollow on one side. I'm going to assume that they probably, or well, we can say that this is a thruster. Yeah, let's stay nice. Then, of course, the final accessory we get is the beam saber. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed by it because it's not as impressive as I would have imagined for a close combat mobile suit. Here we have the Naginata for the HGUC, and when you compare them, which one of these weapons looks the most impressive melee-wise? The Beam Naginata for the mass production general purpose HGUC, or the Beam Saber for the specialized close combat Gyan? Yeah, and to add a little bit of insult to injury, here we have a standard Beam Saber blade. It's longer. Yeah, it is a bit thinner, but still, couldn't they have made it a little bit longer, a little bit more impressive, a little bit more je ne sais quoi? Just give it a little bit more, yeah, make it look a little bit more impressive for a melee mobile suit. One thing I do have to say is, it's really well in the hand. So sturdy actually that, no, I tried to pull it off once, trying to pull the hilt, and it just came off and this one stayed in the hand. Also, the difference between this hand and this hand is, this is a normal straight peg, while this is slightly bent for somewhat more dynamic poses. For example, his signature pose, up like this. Reminds me of Federation versus Gyan. But one unfortunate thing I couldn't help but notice is, why don't they have a hand for like a lunge attack? Wouldn't that be a really good idea? To have them like lunge for another mobile suit? Like a stab like this? But no, they give you a hand that's nice, they give you a hand at an angle. But then again, we do get an extra hand, and I do have a hairdryer. Give me a sec. So, do you guys think it worked? Well, of course it did, otherwise I would have just edited it out and saved myself the humiliation. Well, not quite there yet, but we're definitely making progress. And man, that leg is acting up again. Yeah. And for 5 minutes, I think it turned out pretty well. Now we can finally lunge at something, which is something a close combat mobile suit should be able to do. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? Well, it's definitely not a fantastic kit. It really has its flaws, but you also get what you pay for. At 800 yen standard retail price, it's without a doubt one of the cheapest high-grade Universal Centuries out there. And I was just about to say you can kind of forgive it for its age, and then it just falls over. Yeah, that's definitely a major problem. I really suggest using the glue trick for those legs, because out of the box, it's way too flimsy. But then again, it does look kind of interesting in a few poses it can pull off. Just don't try touching it too much. It doesn't like being touched. It gets a little bit weak in the knees when you touch it. So let's compare it with a few other ones. Here we have the Rigdom, Shar's custom one. Essentially the, the wingman of the Gyan, because they were supposed to work as a duo, the Gyan attacking up front with backup from the Dom. And the Gyan is also surprisingly a quite big mobile suit compared to the G3 Gundam here. You can see he stands at a full head taller, I would say. So quite a big guy. That comparison with another close combat mobile suit, one I previously mentioned, the Goof. Yeah, these guys are very similar, not only in their role, but also as far as their model goes. They look nice, but their articulation is absolute shite. Seriously. And come on, Bandai, you could have done a much better job. And final thing about the Gyan is, I can't help but think and feel that the Gyan would have been better as a Federation mobile suit. And I mean, like the concept, make it a little bit more Gundam-ish or Jim-ish. But let's think about this for a second. This mobile suit was based on a knight. And where did knights hang around? Medieval Europe. Not a space colony, medieval Europe. So think about it. Wouldn't it have been much better as like an ace mobile suit for the Federation side? Like maybe something to work to fight alongside the gun cannon. Think about it. Or, well, even though the three musketeers weren't exactly nice, you could have had three of these guys and have them piloted by a bunch of Frenchmen and call them the Three Musketeers. Just random thoughts. Anyways, that's all for this review. So for 800 yen, it's definitely not a bad mobile suit if you can forgive its articulation, and it does look nice standing like this in a very knightly pose. But essentially, when you buy this, don't expect any articulation, just expect it to, just like the Goof, just expect it to stand on your shelf in more or less a static pose. But when you're okay with that, this kit is definitely worth getting if you like the Gyan. Or save up your money and go for the Master Grade. So that's really all for this review, and see you next time.